Well, we appreciate you guys showing up for this first Thursday roundtable. I know this is one of my favorite Thursdays of the month, right behind the Next Gen group that meets on the third Thursday. But this is terrific, and I can't wait to see what's in tow today. We have a few announcements. Let's see if we can get through those. Chelsea, can you see that okay?
Yes, sir. We're ready to rock and roll.
All right. Well, uh, hang on a second. We got a this is live dynamic CTAT work right here. You can see this going on.
Hot off the press. Hot off the press.
Well, it's October 3rd, 2024. And of course, if it's the first Thursday of the month, that means it's time for the CTAT roundtable. And this is a little legal notice from Denny Crane here. Denny Crane, these Zoom-based meetings are posted on CTAT social media platforms. So if you don't want your picture posted, you can certainly participate with your picture off. But so thank you for being here, and we will make sure everyone knows that these are going to be posted on social media if you're new. We are this year celebrating 25 years of CTAT, and we're going to have little trinkets that go throughout the year that are going to be meant to celebrate. And we certainly appreciate the support of everyone here. Some of the folks that are in this Zoom room were around doing excellent career tech work when CTAT was birthed 25 years ago. This is season 5 of our roundtable, which seems almost incredible. It doesn't even seem possible that this started with just a COVID update, and then it became so popular. You guys want to come in and get opinions from each other and seek help and share. That's what makes this roundtable so popular. We get lots of comments from new folks every month that say how beneficial you guys are in supporting each other. So thank you for being a part of season 5. If you do know someone that wants to sponsor a roundtable, we have several of them placed already. They can hop in and just let one of us know, and we'll put their company logo right there on the billboard. Cruising into October, this kind of reminds me of Dumb and Dumber, but this is a pretty good actor. That guy wearing his pumpkin helmet. And here we go. Let's get October underway. I do agree with, I'm not sure who this girl is, but she's probably famous. But she said, if it's October, why is it hot? And I agree with her. And another meme that I ran across, I guess it's because it was Halloween. You see that Mrs. Superman, Mrs. Kent is sewing on Superman's outfit, but I think the honeymoon period is off because on his S, she's turning it into stupid. That doesn't seem very nice. Maybe the Kents need some counseling. On this day in 1863, the old rail splitter, Abraham Lincoln, declared the last Thursday in November as Thanksgiving Day. Prior to that, it was a set day in November by George Washington, but the old rail splitter Abe Lincoln came in and made it the last Thursday in November as we know it now. Also in 1962, one of the original Mercury 7 astronauts, Wally Schirra, in his Sigma 7 Mercury capsule, went out for 6 orbits around the Earth in a Mercury flight, one of the last original Mercury flights. And Wally Schirra was actually the only Mercury 7 astronaut to fly in all NASA missions. He flew in the Mercury, he flew in the Gemini, and flew in the Apollo missions, which makes him very unique. Also, if you remember, Julius Caesar was assassinated with knives in the back by Brutus and Cassius, and in 42 BC, Mark Antony and Octavian fought to a draw against those assassins with trying to avenge Caesar's death, and that's one of the most famous Roman Civil War battles in history. So, very interesting day in history. For birthdays today in 1935, Charlie Duke was the 10th American to walk on the moon. He became a general, he was pilot astronaut, and he walked on the moon with John Young during Apollo 16. Also in 1949, the great Lindsey Buckingham was born. And of course, we remember him as the guitarist with Fleetwood Mac, and also being married to Stevie Nicks. And if that wasn't great enough, the greatness continues because in 1954, Stevie Ray Vaughan was born just right up the road from me in South Oak Cliff. Stevie Ray, of course, Texas Flood, and his brother Jimmy was with the fabulous Thunderbirds. Stevie Ray Vaughan is a true rock and roll genius. Happy birthday, Stevie, Lindsay, and Charlie Duke. Another good thing about Charlie Duke is when you're listening to the Apollo 11, when you see that footage and you hear someone talking to Neil Armstrong when they actually land the Eagle on the moon, that voice is Charlie Duke. He was the captain during the moon landing. You can use that trivia. You don't have to even credit me. So all that made me think. I asked AI, what would it look like if Abe Lincoln and Stevie Ray Vaughan were Apollo astronauts? And I thought this was pretty cool. So I stuck this picture up there. Oh, the old rail splitter as an astronaut. Hard to beat. Like I said, there's nothing better than seeing the CTE professionals in the state working together. And that's what we get to do every month with this roundtable. And I can't tell you how much we appreciate you being on. It is truly meaningful. As always, we really want to reach out and thank our board of directors and the leadership they provide, probably more than any other association I've ever been aware with. The board of directors has such an important leadership role in setting the direction and making policy, and just being super supportive of CTAT and its members. So thank you to the CTAT boards. Also, we just had the area presidents on the call. We sure want to thank you guys. The heart of the matter is always done at the local level, and that's why these area presidents make such an important contribution to CTAT. And so if you're looking to really get involved with CTAT, then I always recommend start at your local level, and you can reach out to your local area president. And if you can't find it, give us a call at CTAT and tell us your district, and we'll tell you exactly what area you belong to. But the areas are where it really happens. Also, we have we've started this session with the CTAT membership one-on-one that we'll be doing live, and I think we're going to do one at quarterly. I think, Chelsea, if you're still in there, can you comment on because I forgot what the time frame is on having the CTAT membership one-on-ones.
Yeah, sure thing. So it's not tomorrow, but they will be posted quarterly. And so we will update you on those. And I think we left this in here to highlight the fact that we did host one immediately following the September roundtable. And we had great participation from some new CTAT members that were excited to learn more about the organization that they've joined and how the association can benefit them. So be on the lookout when we post those updated links in forum as well as in the chat. And then that way, if you or anyone that you know can benefit from that, we will be available to meet with them to go over CTAT membership 101.
If you are going to your first or second conference, I think it's just incredibly beneficial to attend one of these CTAT membership one-on-one meetings. The whole team's on there to answer questions in all parts of CTAT and the conference. So thank you, Chelsea. Also talk real quickly about the programming. Of course, we have the next gen administrators, and we'll probably take more registrations through the third Thursday of this month. Of course, the monthly roundtables like you're seeing now, the professional conferences like we have each winter and each summer. Of course, that is the backbone of CTAT, is the networking opportunities that are available through winter and summer CTAT conferences. Also, we're available to do in-district professional development. If you need that, we certainly enjoy going out to the specific districts and doing presentations for your teachers. We're also scheduling program evaluations now for the spring. So if you need a program evaluation or you're interested in getting a quote, you can email Chelsea or I at or Chelsea at CTAT.org. Also, I know that the service centers do such a terrific job of providing MOA support. But if for some reason someone is unavailable or whatever, certainly you can reach out to CTAT and we can provide support with that too. And one of the areas that we're really trying to focus on is we know that people can't come to conference every um, uh, every single member in your district can't come to every single conference. There's teachers and there's support staff and specialists. And so we're trying to take some of the professional development out to you guys in the areas. And so our area outreach trainings are very important. And we think that's mission critical to what we're doing in the future. And here is just a sample of the outreach trainings that we have going on. We have the campus CTE coach training, and we just finished one in the Woodlands that was incredible. We had a packed house, and uh, 3/4 of the group was actually our target audience. It was teachers in the hallway that are going to be there to help. And keep in mind, where's a struggling teacher most likely to turn to help? Well, the truth is they're most likely to go down the hall and seek help from a nearby colleague. And so the whole point and the whole focus of the campus coach training is to put a skilled resource where the teachers are most likely to make use of it. And we are very passionate at CTAT about this. And it's our goal to get a trained campus CTE coach on every secondary campus in the state. And in addition to having these outstanding resources, we have a legislative session coming up, and this will build an army of advocates out for career and technical education at all corners of Texas. So we're excited about campus CTE coach training. We're relying on those that attend to provide feedback. This is going to be a dynamic training that'll ever be forever changing. And we're rooting for you guys to make a difference in those inexperienced teachers' lives, which in turn makes a difference in students' lives. It's in the format of the frequently asked questions. Also, coming up, one of the things we talk about is teachers enter the CTE education profession. They're coming through us through DOI. They're not going through ag ed programs. They're not going through family consumer science education programs. They're not going through alternative certifications for trades and industrial. And so too many of our teachers are missing out being indoctrinated in the importance of career and technical student organizations. And like we were talking about with the area presidents, if you don't water it, eventually it'll die. And so I'm afraid that too many of our teachers are coming in to the field and not understanding the importance of a good CTSO. And so that's what this summit is for. And it's November 7th at Pflugerville at the conference center there, which is an incredible facility. And we're just going to try to nurture and try to water our CTSOs a little bit and make sure that they remain strong like they are now. Who can look at pictures of those successful kids and not know that CTSOs are a good thing? You don't need research to tell you. Also, coming up next week, we have October 8th, we have, and that's a 1-day conference. Originally, it was 2, and then it was turned into 1, but we're doing a CTE plus finance training in Abilene. And probably of all our area outreach trainings, that's been the most popular and the most well attended because we teach that in partnership with TASBO. And you get to come there as a team with your finance officer, and it's just an incredible. And if you don't learn anything the entire day, which I promise you will, because Becky Estrada at TASBO is just phenomenal. But if you don't learn anything, then getting to spend a day as a team member with your finance officer makes it worth it. And then coming in February, we're going to do that same concept, but instead of coming with your finance officer, you're going to come with your campus administration and do some team building exercises that'll help you work smarter rather than harder and work together as a CTE and campus administration team. Don't forget December 4th through the 7th. we're going to be at Vision 2024 in San Antonio, the National ACTE Conference. It doesn't happen every year in Texas, and if you want to go and not have to go to Butte, Montana, or Felix, Idaho, then San Antonio might be your best bet. You can register for any of these events right on the CTAT website at ctat.org and go to the events page. Our advocacy team has put together a list of priorities, and we just want to say that we've added an advocacy tab to the top. Lindsay did that last week, and so if you want to go in and check out the priorities, you can do that on the CTAT website. One of the areas that we talked about this last week about more than 5 days, then the teacher, unless it's the exact same service, then the student has to be removed from funding. And so now that brings us to this month's important updates, which is always the highlight of the roundtable. And we have our very own Chelsea Reeves that's going to do the updates. And I know that she's at home and she's working with her dog, Jasper Tweed, and he's a beautiful little puppy, brand new. And Chelsea, do you mind taking away the updates?
Thank you so much, Mark. You know, the photos that you have captured of Jasper Tweed just get better and better as the months go by. I so
He,
appreciate you making sure you get his good side, and I know how much you love him.
he is a beautiful dog, Chelsea. Don't let anybody tell
Yes,
you different.
he loves his Uncle Mark. So on to the updates. Here we go, team. You know, I think with this first update, well, and before we even jump into it and get started, if you are looking for any resource that we go over in this update portion, please know that you can find them in the CTAT chat that launched in your inbox on October the 1st. If for some reason you are a fully fledged member and you have not received that communication, please let us know so that way we can get that for you, because that really is an excellent information for you to kickstart your month with. So hot off the presses, 2024-2025 SAW update. And I loved the comment in CTAT's open forum this week from Rick Boo that communicated, you know, the more things change, the more things stay the same. Because while there weren't changes based on some of the feedback that they received, there were changes that were made at adoption. So we're going to look at those and what those include. So we know that many of us created spreadsheets and hour calculations, and we're counting pep rally minutes and kind of going into a tailspin panic of ensuring that our courses were the right amount of minutes in order to receive full funding and for students to receive full attendance allowance. So with that, based on all of the feedback from across the state of Texas, we have landed on the following. So you will see in the document that's linked within the CTAT chat, the change log. And to my knowledge, I haven't checked this afternoon, but I'm not sure, and I don't believe that the true SAW, adopted SAW, has been launched live. But it looks like Mark's going to go and check that for me here. But if anyone knows that it has, feel free to drop it in the chat. But it is effective as of October 1st. So although we don't
Chelsea,
have, yes, sir.
the adopted dropped today. I'm glad you said that.
Excellent, amazing,
Longer
fantastic.
says proposed.
Okay, beautiful. So adopted, effective as of October 1st. And we can all celebrate because the language states LEAs must ensure CTE course periods are a minimum of 45 minutes on standard, regular bell schedule days. Days covered by a waiver in Section 3 should be excluded from the local calculation since they are not a part of the standard regular bell schedule. So share that with your PEEMs, counselors, campus administration, district administration, and the like. And when we go off of the shared screen and we go into chatting back and forth, we'll go into a deeper dive of that if you have any questions. I always state this, but probably the best tool that you can launch your month with is just reviewing the CTAT chat to-do list. It's listed at the top of our newsletters every single month. And so some things that are high priority is to definitely register for CTAT Winter Leadership Conference 2025. Also, the call for proposals have launched, and we would love to see the incredible things that are taking place in your district, on your campuses, and in your areas. And so please feel free to go ahead and submit that call for proposal. Request spreadsheets of your career preparation and practicum students, employer information, and that copy of signed training agreements from your career prep and practicum teachers. And just make sure that you have a training plan agreement on file, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that in just a moment. Also make sure that you've touched base with your 7th and 8th grade counselors to administer those career interest and career cluster career interest inventory systems. And keep in mind of what your practice is for those students that transfer to you, even as a 9th, 10th, or 11th, or 12th grade student, right? Because we know best practice and the requirement is to have those on file for every single student. So what is your transfer process for students that come to you new that are needing that? And then also plan out and implement your first advisory committee meeting. Again, registration is open for CTAT Winter Leadership Conference, and we would love for you to submit a presentation, and we can't wait to review those and notify you that you've been selected. And we just look forward to the learning, the fellowship, and the fun that happens at CTAT Winter Leadership. Also, if you were with us at summer, we want to remind you that there are some PEIMS language changes. These are, for some reason, even though they're tiny changes, they're kind of hard for me to ingrain in my brain because I'm so used to just spitting out what I know, and what I know has changed a little bit. So make sure that you're working with your PEIMS and your counselors and yourself to make sure that you're referring to things correctly, because we can all remember how difficult it was to move from a coherent sequence of courses to programs of study to students' plans. And so we want to make sure that we're using consistent language to inform and limit confusion as things continue to change. Also in the TEA CTE newsletter, TEA sent out sometime last month, but after the 10th and 15th day of instruction, an updated work-based learning guidance and updated training plans. And my very first question to Marset Kilgore was, does this mean that all of our CTE teachers that have plans on file oh, look, Mark got a little laser pointer and he wants to let you know that you can click on that link there in the chat and you can grab those. And Mark, I feel like a cat with you pointing that laser pointer. I don't know where to focus and where to go. But with Marset very happily shared that no, you do not have to update to this new document. However, I would put a plan in place for utilizing this new document starting with the 25-26 school year. And just take note that the substance remains and there aren't many changes. There's just a few changes that enhance the overall documentation process. Also, regional programs of study applications are available. They opened yesterday and they closed November 29th. So please reach out to your ESC CTE specialists to communicate with them about, hey, we have a need and an emergent need in our region for this specific regional program of study. And we know that some programs of study are specific to region, and those ESC CTE specialists truly do an incredible job of submitting everything and bringing all stakeholders together to ensure that we have the best regional programs of study available for all students to be successful. So definitely be on the lookout for communication from your ESC CTE specialist and reach out to them if you have any interest in any regional program of study that's needed.
And Chelsea, they have to go through a service center to do a
Correct. Yeah. So it used to be that an independent LEA, a local education agency, an institution of higher education, there were many areas that could submit a regional program of study application. And TEA has really identified that it needs to go through one sole source. And that sole source is the ESC CTE specialists. And so be in contact with them. We also continue to see draft recommendations for CTE TEKS. Currently, we have proposed and drafted recommendations for new CTE engineering TEKS. And this is just a great reminder for all of you to connect with your CTE teachers and ensure that they're utilizing their most updated, most up-to-date TEKS available. I know, and many of you know, that sometimes we're guilty of falling into what we've always done. And CTE TEKS are continuing to change, especially as they go through review and refresh. And so we want to ensure that teachers are teaching the Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills because that is the requirement, the law, and it's also what protects them in the classroom. Because if they were ever questioned as to why they were teaching some sort of content, they could say because it's required of the TEKS. But they can only do that if they're utilizing their most up-to-date TEKS. We want to celebrate and congratulate the 2024-2025 CTE Leadership Committee. These are CTE leaders across the state of Texas that represent each region, 1 through 20, and they form a CTE Leadership Committee. Some of you are on this list, and it's our goal that if they are not members of CTAT, they will be, because we are excited for them to be in partnership with TEA and just have some really great opportunities to lead across the state of Texas in this committee. So kudos and congratulations to them. Again, new CTE TEKS in agriculture. I feel like I'm on Reading Rainbow. Agriculture, aviation maintenance, and STEM are adopted. And so definitely make sure that you check those out, but those are scheduled for implementation beginning with the 2025-2026 school year. Performance reporting. If you are not receiving performance reporting bulletins, we highly recommend that you go in and you gain access to those because we see that CTE has a direct alignment to supporting CCMR outcomes. And so it's important for us to remain engaged, informed, and just ensure that if there's any changes, we stay at the forefront of that and any updates as well. And then finally, dual credit updates. There are some updates that have recently posted, and you can see those here as well as in our CTAT chat that posted on October 1st. And Mark is showing me that there is a button to register for an in-depth discussion that will take place during the October Advanced Academics office hours. And it's my understanding that more often than not, if you're unavailable to view those live, they record them or they provide FAQs that were asked there, or that at the very minimum, they'll provide that slide deck there. So definitely take a look at that and ensure that if you offer CTE dual credit courses, which many of you do, you're staying informed. The LASSO Cycle 3 AP Computer Science Principles Grant is open. And it is launching, I'm sorry, it's not yet open, but the information for it is open. It will open on October 14th, and it's going to close on December 13th. So if that is something that interests you, jump on that and look forward to a great opportunity for your students. Then also the 24-25 Texas STEM Pathways Challenge is available. There was, Mark, you can go to the next slide. This is the flyer that was included, and within the chat, you can click on the link that takes you to the flyer. The informational overview occurred in September. However, you can still register a team if you are interested because that registration doesn't close until November. And then the competition is later in the year. So if you are at all interested in that, definitely look into it. A great opportunity for your students and teachers to take part in. At this time, I just, oh, no, no, Mark, I think it's really important that we go back and we highlight the importance of that slide that you so desperately wanted to skip ahead. I just want to call for justice for Jasper Tweed because we have suffered through two really heinous photos of him. And so he did go and get groomed. And I wanted to make sure that you saw the real picture of him there on the left. And then I also just want to state that Mark and I have had the pleasure and the opportunity and the joy to drive together across this great state of Texas. And we've spent many hours in the car together. And I have learned so much. And I don't know if you guys know this, but Mark Boshier, for as happy-go-lucky and just kind of easygoing as he appears, is actually very particular. I refer to it as driving Miss Daisy because I am the one that is always driving, and Mark's very persistent on needing his specific snacks, his cup for his snuff, and just making sure that we get frequent stops at Buc-ee's and the like. And so I know that Mark does want to jump out of the car after listening to me talk about my dog for 3.5 hours when we drive to Austin. But I just wanted a little bit of justice for JT. So now back to Mark Boshier and regularly programmed programming.
Hey, I just want to say I haven't met you yet, Chelsea. But if you can pick back at Mark, I'm glad to know you.
Hey, Sheridan,
some of that.
I'm happy to know you, and I will tell you what I've told everyone. So both Mark and I are from the North Central Texas area, so I think a lot of people knew me and also knew Mark, and I got many people that said, "Oh, Chelsea, we are praying for you. You don't know what you like." And I said, "Don't pray for me, pray for him. He doesn't know what hit him." So I'm going to hold my own, but if y'all have any ammunition, send it to me my way.
McClure, this is a good time for you to jump in at my defense. So moving on, I believe in empowerment. Good job, Chelsea. So in the news this month has something very interesting in that Frisco Independent School District is about to open in a new era of opportunities with its new expansion and the new CTE Center. So congratulations to Frisco ISD. What a great project and what an exciting opportunity. Also, our region spotlight this month went to Amanda Hatton at Region 5. And Amanda Hatton is an area president. She's certainly on our board, but her passion is being a leader and resource at Region 5 Service Center. And Amanda, as part of the spotlight, shared that probably her passion project is her CCMR symposium that they have annually. And this year it's happening on October 8th. And they have stuff about accountability, guest speakers, TEA, financial aid, military recruitment, college prep, dual credit opportunities, much, much more. Amanda, it looks like you really have something powerful going on there in Region 5, just like all the regions do. We appreciate you guys. So we're going to pop out of the share and pop into the gallery here and see if anybody has any comments. Except you, Miss Clinkscale. None more of those. Comments?
Mark, I think there's a really important comment from Kristen Petrunin in the chat. If you wanted to go ahead and read that one out loud.
Oh, I can't read. I think my font's messed up. So, Paul, what's your thoughts about going back to the just the regular old bell schedule? Were you happy to see that, or were you already adjusted?
I'm gonna pause on that just for a moment because I think we haven't given Kristen's comment enough attention yet. Everybody is praying for Chelsea.
I didn't plan this coup, Mark. Okay, I did not plan this coup.
Next month's roundtable is going to take place in January. So, what do you think, Paul, about the switcheroo back? Seriously,
it's good to get some clarification, as clear as we can be.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I do think it's the right decision because those early releases and pep rallies are just the cost of doing business. And the analogy I like to use is if you run into a fire with a bucket of water, some of it's going to slosh out. And so you're going to lose a few minutes here and there having pep rallies and stuff. That's just all part of school. So I commend the agency and for making that ruling.
Mark, I have a question. On innovative courses, when did they decide to renew or not to renew those?
Well, I'm going to answer what I know, which probably isn't much, but they did just re-up the innovative courses, and they moved a lot of the innovative courses into actual chapter, into 127. And so they typically, I don't think there is a formal process. Used to it was every other year. Now the innovative courses stay in place until further action happens, which means the district has to renew or the agency turns them into a full-fledged state course. Does anyone have anything to add on that?
Well, like computer integrated manufacturing, that SIM class, it expires this year, 24-25. And I know we just got the school year started, but we're already talking about next year's catalog and offerings. And so I've been asked from my leadership if that course will renew.
Do you know off the top of your head if that moved into a regular course within a program of study? I'm looking at that right now as we speak. There's architecture, and that's in the manufacturing cluster, Ms. Bullen?
It's engineering.
Oh, engineering. I'll pass that too.
And I've been working with Introduction to CAD, which is another class that moved from innovative to TEKS-based, but with no teacher assignment chart update, I'm struggling to find what certifications are allowable now on that TEKS-based course for Introduction to CAD. And I've got an opening right now that we're desperately trying to fill, and that's an answer that I need.
Ms. Bullen, what was the name of that course?
Computer integrated manufacturing. It's a project lead the way class.
Well, now Project Lead the Way do not appear on the innovative courses because they were all pre-approved through the state. And so they will just stay that way until Project Lead the Way eliminates them or changes them or whatever. So the Project Lead the Way answer is a little bit different than every other course. So the point is here, I would reach out to Project Lead the Way to find out if they have plans to make a change, which I doubt they do. Carla, what was it you were saying there about a specific course?
Introduction to Computer-Aided Drafting has just moved from innovative to TEKS-based, and yet the teacher assignment chart that I can find, if somebody can point me in the right direction, great, but that hasn't been updated. And so now that the class is no longer innovative and is TEKS-based, I'm struggling to find allowable teacher certs, and I have an opening that I'm trying to fill right now. So
and are you saying it is not in chapter 231 yet? They haven't posted that?
I can't find it, Mark.
And would you state that course
Introduction
again?
to Computer-Aided Drafting.
Gotcha.
I can find the TEKS for it, but that's a struggle I was having. I'm not trying to take the meeting off course. I just thought somebody might have a quick answer.
No, I tell you what, I'm gonna look it up. So Chelsea, if you want to lead another topic, I'll go right into that. Look it up.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sorry, I have a question regarding that. Doesn't the service ID number change also? So we have to be careful when it does change from innovative to regular.
Yes. So for example, that specific course is now in chapter 127, subchapter O.
And so you will get a fatal error if you try to use the old N number. Carla, it is not in chapter 231 yet, and I bet you that that's just an update waiting to happen. So I would base right now would base it based on I would use a STEM certified person, possibly a tech apps or trades and industrial person with the work experience. Are y'all DOI?
We are DOI. The other portion of this person's day would be a Project Lead the Way engineering class. And so the candidate that we're wanting to hire is secondary math, which is allowable under Project Lead the Way. I just need to know, do I need to write a DOI exemption, or is this secondary math going to be allowable?
Well,
Carla, I'm happy to reach out. Oh, go ahead, Mark.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I'm happy to reach out to Jennifer Bullock and start there with TEA and see if there's hope on the horizon or some sort of work behind the scenes that's going on, and maybe an effective date as of whatever it may be to get that list out. And then I can loop you back in with whatever information that I hear.
Yeah,
that's great. I had reached out to my region, my CTE region center person, and he was also trying to get some answers, but it's just, we haven't gotten any answers yet. So,
well, in lieu of future information, I would for sure put together that DOI document.
Carla, is the course you're looking for computer integrated manufacturing or a different course?
It's a different course. It's Introduction to Computer Aided Drafting.
Okay, sorry.
No, that's okay.
Trying to help you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carla. That's a great question. Those are going to come up. Vanessa, did that kind of get yours answered too, as best as possible?
Yes, thank you. But I do have one more question. The FTE calculator, where is that found on the CTAT page?
I can send that to you. It comes with instructions. So if you want to just shoot me an email, I can send that to you. mark@ctat.org. And we don't have, we're waiting for them to put together the courses that are new with the tiers. And as soon as we get that spreadsheet that has the new courses listed and what tier that they're in, we will update that. But it's going to be 93.7% of the courses you have will be on that calculator. Who was that?
Oh, the new courses aren't on the one that's there now. That's why I needed it. But that's okay. I'll still email you.
And the reason they're not is because we don't have the spreadsheet with the tiers on them yet. But as soon as we do, we will.
Okay, thanks.
Mark, I have a question for Chelsea. Chelsea, you mentioned that the CO2 table has been changed.
Yes, sir.
Where can we find the new table of all the courses?
Yes, I have that bookmarked. So let me go into my bookmarks and I'll grab that and drop it for you.
So it should list all the courses on there?
Yes, it
Just
will.
like the CO2 one? Okay.
Yes. And then is Amanda Hatton on the call? Because it's my understanding that once they have everything finalized, oh, JJ, you're the best. Thank you, JJ. JJ Ayers just dropped that in the chat for you. So that way you can see it. And it is available on TSDS. And so that way you have access to it there. And then my understanding, and then Carrie did as well. Thanks, you guys, this team. Y'all are amazing. Such an incredible leadership group. So that is there. And then we will have more information whenever everything gets finalized. And then someone asked in the chat, Chelsea, the work-based learning course is not available on TEA Learn. Is it being updated? So we heard that earlier this week as well. And so I know that it was available, and then they sent out communication about they were closing it and then they were going to reopen it. And so I will also ask about that whenever I formulate my email for Marcette for the question related to computer engineering. So I will post in forum whenever I get the answers to both of those. So hopefully if you had any late hires or if you have any teachers that you need to get that work-based learning training done, they can do so. And then course codes now, instead of service ID, right? Right. And so those are the things that I have to ingrain in my brain. And those are the things that are like, I need a flashcard in front of me for shortcuts to remember
Chelsea,
that.
and Chelsea, I just happen to be looking at the chart right now, but they're calling it, where it used to say service ID, now it says descriptor. So I think that might be the technical term. Now, I'm still going to say service ID. So if you guys hear me say service ID, translating that in your brain to descriptor.
Okay, I have a question.
Miss
This might
Carpenter,
sound-
can
Yes.
you, just 1 second, Maggie Speed asked, the 45 minutes does not apply to early release days. If you have the class, it has to be 45 minutes. So you can't have a 25-minute CTE class. If you have CTE class that day, it has to be 45 minutes. But if you have early release and the class doesn't happen, then it's not counted against you. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Miss Carpenter.
Okay, thanks. Okay, I just need clarification on what is the benefit of the C330 with, I mean, I'm so used to using like the CO22 that has, you know, everything in there. And so I'm looking at the C330. And so I'm like, it doesn't have the abbreviated description. Like when we're having to build courses, you know, you need the abbreviated description as well as the long description. So I don't know. I'm just trying to struggle. Maybe there's something I don't know that someone else knows.
Miss Carpenter, that abbreviated description should auto-populate in most SIS softwares once you put the descriptor in, I hope. And of course, you sounds like you've already seen it. I put it on there thinking you hadn't seen it yet. But, yeah, it is different in that aspect. Kimberly, have you guys heard anything different on that, or? Oh, and no credits, no units. Who said that? Yeah, Claudia. Claudia, that's a great catch. Kelsey, let's reach out to Lacey and find out, because they're going to have the units on there. So yeah, that's a good point. Let us reach out and we'll send a follow-up saying Claudia Gonzalez there. We'll see if it. Yeah, let's reach out. I was going to pull up the spreadsheet, but it's kind of hard to do with the deal. But I was going to see if it was on the Excel spreadsheet that's also downloadable. Thank you, Claudia. Vanessa, oh yeah, there you go. Very good. Thank you, Vanessa.
We attended a PEAMS training at our service center, Region 20, and they said they're calling it now course code, and that's what will show up in our SIS system. I mean, that's what I wrote in my notes.
They're calling it what?
Course code.
Course code.
I mean, yeah. I know that's what it shows in the table, but in our SIS system, I guess, supposedly it's supposed to change to course code.
Right. Okay. Yeah, it looks like, and I'm just sitting there looking at the C330 table, and it looks like that has several things missing, including the abbreviations, the long descriptions, and the units. So maybe that'll all come out in time. JJ, you don't have another link in your magic pocket, do you?
I have lots of links. Just depends upon what you want.
Well, one with the units and the short descriptors would be nice.
No, I don't have that one.
Okay, very good. All right, what else we got going on? Anybody with any other comments, questions? Miss Murray, everything in Azle is going all hunky-dory? That's awesome. Andrew, everything okay in your world?
Everything's great.
Well, I'm going to give a last call here. So if you have something for the benefit of the group, let's go now. If not, then we're going to turn off the engine here and go into Slack. Last call? Well, I want to say one more time before we do this, just for the benefit of our folks that will be watching on the YouTube channel. Thank you so much for being here. And I know that y'all probably get tired of me saying it, but the truth is we really and truly appreciate you being here and taking this time out of your month. And I know an hour is quite a bit to give up with the schedule some of you guys have, and getting on here and helping each other and just being a part of the community. I think just being on here is important. So thank you so much. So that being said, I'm going to stop recording and we'll see you at the November roundtable.